This is the update number 2 of the Guillows B-24 RC conversion. So the wings are done. Well, one of them is done, but the dihedral set, and it worked out really good in this model just using the stock dihedral. The wheels used in this, they're just a hair bigger than what the print calls for. You could see me move this wheel. It's just a hair larger foam wheel. Same with the nose wheel. And that's what I'd like to go with. I want this thing to roll through the grass real easily. One of the retracts are installed. This wing is actually pretty much ready to be covered. So, as we see it here, the dihedral, you can see where the two pieces of wood matched up. It's really close. Or the angle of attack, sorry. And the dihedral is pretty much set on these wings. Just from the print, from how you build the model. There's a good build on the RC groups that shows one of these flying, and he states that you can pretty much use the angle of attack that's right with the kit on this model. So, with the help of my lovely assistant, I'm going to have her help me hold the camera. There you go. And I'm just going to pull the wings off, just like a giant fly. Not like a giant fly. But there's been requests to see how I do my ailerons and how I hinge them. So when I built this wing, it was just per the print. So yeah, this is the right wing. And it just builds right up off the print. And for the aileron, it just shows you these two pieces, these spacers. So you add another spacer in here, and that gives you enough material to sand down to build your aileron. So when I do this, I glue the aileron. All these pieces are glued in solid, so when you sand this down, if I could find my sanding block, it's here somewhere. Hey, look, it's over there. Thank you, lovely assistant. But when you sand this whole thing down, you could just sand your aileron right with it. And when you're done, we'll cut these out and make them fit. So another good thing that really worked out was the engine nacelles are really close to where they need to be, and I gave them maybe a couple of degrees of down attitude. I didn't give them any right pitch yet or anything, because I really didn't do that on my Super Ford. It really didn't make a difference on it. So the other wing, as it's installed in the model, we're holding one of the retracts in it. So this is about the ride height I'm shooting for. If you can lower the camera on. There you go. So this is like the ride height. It's going to be a squeak higher than what the actual scale aircraft would have, but that's what I want. I want the thing to have a little ground clearance to roll through grass or whatever. If I'm flying off a gravel road, it's going to take it. So these wings will be epoxied in. And this is where everything goes through the small hole there in the wing. So this is pretty much how I mounted my motors. I made some motor mounts out of some light plywood, and these are pretty much what my motor mounts ended up being. Screwed in place. Motors are set at maybe 2 degrees of down thrust and 0 on forward thrust for right now. We could always change that if it ends up being a big problem. Cowls will slide right over. And it's pretty much a slip fit. And props fit nicely in place. I could try a 3-blade prop, but I'd rather run the 2-blade with the 3-cell. I think it's going to perform a lot better and get me off the ground, give me all the power I need to get out of any trouble. So this is the aileron, how this turned out. So pretty much box your servo in, and I like to screw mine onto blocks, and when I mount them, however they go in, however goofy it is, they're screwed in. They're not going anywhere. You could use hot glue, just a blop of hot glue, stick your servo in. But this is the aileron, how it is cut out and how it's sanded down. So as you can see with this stuff, this is a bulk piece of hinging material that I bought from an online hobby. And it takes just a really thin sliver of this stuff. I mean, it's strong. You could put a vice grip on that thing and dangle it over the model, and it's not going to break. I mean, it's really strong stuff. So just a sliver, and that gives you minimal drag for your servo to operate your control surface. So the servo is going to run down here, and it's going to run my aileron. This is just another piece of a control horn, and it's roughed up, and it's glued in with CA, and we built this up with some more balsa to make it much stronger. But this is my control throw for the aileron. It should be a great plenty. Retracts worked out like this. This is just some hardwood, and I ended up having to put them at a bit of an angle because we want the servo we want the retract not all the way into the wing. These did not go all the way into the wing. Maybe I can demonstrate how this retract works, since I have a lovely assistant to hold the camera for me. So these are Dynam retracts. So watch this. So about 25 seconds from now, that'll go up. And I used to think these were junk. It's not moving. These are garbage. But it's about 25 seconds later. And has it been about 25 seconds? It's really close to it. But 25 seconds, and this retract will go up. It's been more than 25 seconds. All right, we got to go the other way then. Wait, we got to plug it in the right direction. Hang on. Okay. There we go. Sorry for using 40 seconds of your time, YouTube viewers. All right. So we go all the way back the other way. I'll give me a second to look for my other part. There's a... Okay, now we go back the other way. There we go. So this retracts up into the wing, and that's about how we want them to sit, because there is a fairing that goes on. There it is. And your fairing will go back here like this, and that should be a really good fit. In fact, it's in the wing a little too far, but that's okay. I'd rather have it, you know, not hanging out any farther than it is. So at this point, you know, this wing is ready to be finished. We'll put the rest of the stringers in. We've got these labeled like right outboard, lower. You know, this will get trimmed back so that the cowl fits just right. You know, like right outboard, upper goes up here. They'll fit just right after just a little trimming. Really, really close. So we got all this coming up in the future. I can unplug this now. But this is a really, really great piece to have for like, I don't know, $7-10. You can test your servos, and I made this little, you know, with a little G-Force Life-E battery on it that lasts, like, you charge it like twice a year, and you can break in your servos. So what I like to do with a new servo is, you know, plug it in when it's new, and let's see, that centered it. This will automatically just run it, so you break in your servo. And you let it cycle like that for, I don't know, a few minutes, and you'll know if you're going to have any failure with your China servo or whatever servo it is. But it's a good practice to get into. So the other mode, you can just manually control it wherever you want. So, very valuable, wonderful piece to have for any of you guys. And I'm sure there's other things I forgot along the way here, but just best I could do for an update, for a Merry Christmas update for you guys. And I'm surprised at the following. It's great, you guys. I'm glad you're interested in following along in the build, and you know, it might be a little advanced for some of you guys, but you can pick up a few things. And at some point in the future, I'm sure I'll do, you know, a smaller Guillows build. But okay, I'll take over the camera for now. Thank you, sweetie. So that's about it for right now. We don't want to drag out too much. We're over 10 minutes already. So thanks for watching and subscribing and your interest. Merry Christmas.